Welcome to the Titans Time Podcast, your Tennessee Titans podcast for the Pigskin Podcast Network. My name is Tanner Staggs, and joining me, as always, my brother Tyler Staggs. We've got an awesome show today. We're doing our game reaction show for the Titans and Chiefs game. An absolute show of first half dominance by the Tennessee Titans. We've got a quick game recap, then we'll talk some of the key players from the game, and we'll get into some of our usual segments that we do on the show. But Tyler, go ahead and tell everyone how they can support the podcast.
Guys, it's simple. Go check out our merch. Shirts, hoodies, phone cases, stickers, all kinds of different stuff. All you have to do is go to titans-time.myshopify.com/collections/all and check it out. Let us know. And let us know if there's anything else you would like to see added to the store that you might be interested in. Just reach out to us. Tanner will tell you our socials here in a minute. You can reach out to us there. And another way is if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, make sure you're following the podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us some comments, questions. We love the interaction. If you're watching on YouTube, talking to you right now, scroll down. That subscribe button. Is it red? If so, click it. Turn it gray. Turn on the post notifications. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and let us know you like the video. We really appreciate it. Share the video. All football fans. We love the interaction, love talking football. And go down, leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts on this just completely dominating game by the Titans.
Also, make sure that you're with us on social media. On Twitter, it's Titans_time. On Facebook, Titans Time. And on Instagram, Titans Time Podcast. All right, so we've got the 27-3 win here on Sunday from the Titans over the Chiefs that once dominated the NFL.
Yeah, and just to put into perspective, we're recording on Monday.
Right,
so we've had a day to kind of think about it. And, wish we could have recorded yesterday to just keep that same energy. I'm going to need you to be bringing a little bit more energy now. We absolutely dominated the Chiefs yesterday. Come on now. Get a little bit hype.
Here's my thing. Okay, definitely excited about this game. Still a long road ahead of the team here.
It is, but you can enjoy
because we can't forget that this is the team that is not far removed from being the first win for the New York Jets.
See, why'd you have to bring that negativity?
So now now we can bring back the positive vibe and continue on into the game. Go ahead and give us a little quick recap about how this game went.
So, it was pretty much just a first half game. Everything that happened essentially happened in the first half. And you kind of laid out the game plan for the Titans as far as how to start the game. Granted, it wasn't by the Titans choosing to receive the ball. Chiefs won the coin toss. They deferred. But the Titans got the ball, and the only thing you got wrong about them starting out with the ball is you said, dominate the clock. Just keep Mahomes over there on the sideline for as long as you can. The first drive, the Titans went 8 plays in 4 minutes and scored a touchdown.
I guess the Chiefs were a bit easier to move the ball on than what, I was expecting. But
we have to talk about that first touchdown because everyone knew coming into this game how bad the Chiefs' defense was, especially against the run. And not going to lie, they done a decent job against Derrick Henry. Not his best day. I believe it was 29 carries for 86 yards. So not his best day at all. But he heard that the MVP award is just like a quarterback award. So he decided to get in on the passing touchdowns. And I think Mike Keith called it the King Cat offense. And he took the direct snap, ran up to the line, and just threw a dot to Michael Pruitt for the touchdown.
I don't know how I'd call it a dot. It was a little bit more of a Tim Tebow top pass.
Okay. Was it where the defense couldn't get to it? Were defenders...
Your definition and my definition of throwing a dot might be a little bit different.
A dot for a running back.
True.
And look, really, he had two other guys wide open if need be.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill, the former wide receiver, completely wide open on what would have just been a screen pass. He would have walked into the end zone. But, I mean, all that I have to say about this play is even though Derrick Henry now has 2 career passing touchdowns, unless I've missed one somewhere, even though he now has 2, and they've ran this play probably more than anyone ever expected them to run that specific play, it seems like more of an option kind of deal to me. At least this time
so.
it did. This time it did. Even with all of that, you're not expecting Derrick Henry to throw the ball when he lines up in the Wildcat. As the
You're not.
You're not. You're expecting him to, because they do run that. I mean, I guess in the relative to how often teams run Wildcat, like they run it with him quite a bit.
Right, and I seen where someone said that the Titans need to look back at that play and definitely save it to come back to later on, because again, you had Ryan Tannehill wide open, and I haven't got to go back to watch the game. I don't know who else was standing in the other corner of the end zone wide open, but if teams look at this on film and they're like, okay, we're going to commit a guy to Tannehill and we need to keep a guy over here. Like you said, if it becomes an option at that point of where Henry can decide, okay, I'm going to run it or I'm going to throw it, how do you stop that?
Well, I mean, basically what you're saying here is if people start to respect the arm of the best running back in the NFL, you've got a problem. Because, like, if you're dropping people back to play in coverage when he's taking the snap,
He's just going to run it.
he's going to run it. And he's going to be the best dual threat quarterback in the NFL.
But I mean, you get where I'm coming from here, because you have to pick, okay, do we leave these guys open or do we sell out to stop him?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why you were at the game. I messaged you right after I saw that play, and I said, I love this play.
Yes.
It's like, it is literally, now, you can't abuse it. You can't, you have to pick and choose. When is the perfect time
definitely.
to use it? But it works so well.
And here's the other reason that, those two guys being open, we haven't seen Derrick Henry, like, if he can actually make the throw over to him.
Right.
But teams have to question, okay, do we kind of leave that to chance and still just leave those guys open and sell out to stop him, or what do we do? So, because if you make it easy on him and guard those guys, he's going to walk into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. But, yeah, I mean, you kind of just have to pick your battle there. Like, are you going to really sell out to stop him and have him throw it over the top, or you're going to let him run in an easy touchdown?
Exactly. And after that, the Titans defense, all banged up in the secondary, everything else. You're looking at all the weapons that the Chiefs have. You're like, man, we're just going to have to, keep pouring it on them with our offense. But the defense gets a stop. And kind of like I talked about with the defense, what you have to do is you have to be able to get after Mahomes with 4 guys and just keep 2 safeties back. And that's pretty much what the Titans done all game long. And they made the Chiefs punt on their first 2 drives.
I mean, that is the most incredible start that you can ask for against what I still believe to be one of the best offenses in the NFL, even though they've had their struggles.
Well, when they're clicking.
Yeah, and when they're not being, completely handicapped by the defense's game plan. I mean, you could tell at times that what they wanted to do was just completely covered up by the Titans. And
right.
I mean, they did a great job of doing, honestly, what we said they needed to come in and do. And I'm sure it's kind of the obvious thing coming into this game, because we've sort of seen now what teams have had success with against the Chiefs. And so I'm sure everybody was saying it coming in. Drop everyone back almost, get after him with 4, which they did. And, I mean, you're in business.
And I really thought, which we'll touch on this a little bit more later, I thought my bold prediction was going to come true early in the game.
You had a good chance for it.
That first drive, when we made on punt, Bud Dupree got back there for his first sack of the season. And it was a strip sack. It just so happened the Chiefs jumped on the ball.
Right.
But, like I said, we made the Chiefs punt on their first 2 possessions. And we took advantage of that because it wasn't just we made them punt and then we went 3 and out, or we ended up giving the ball back. No, we got points from it. We were able to score another touchdown and kick a field goal to take a 17-0 lead. And I'm talking to some of the other fans around me, like, yes, I'm happy about this 17-point lead, but we got to keep pouring it on them because this offense can score in a hurry. And A.J. Brown was having himself a day yesterday. I believe he finished with like 8 catches for 133 yards and a touchdown. And his...
Lots of fantasy points.
Yes, I'm glad I have him on my fantasy team. But that one catch along the sideline, not the touchdown, watching it in the stadium there, you're looking, you see the ball come out after he hits the ground, you're like, man, I don't know. And they show the replay, and you see the guy, the cornerback couldn't have had any better coverage. I mean, AJ just had a step on him, and Tannehill put the ball right where it needed to be. I mean, just right down in the breadbasket. And AJ took like 5 steps after he caught it, went down, knee hit the ground, and the ball came out after that. And the stadium is going nuts, yelling at Vrabel, like, you better throw the challenge flag.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious once you saw the replay.
Like if you don't throw the challenge flag, the people are going to riot in this stadium. Like, it's fixing to turn into a volunteer game with mustard bottles being thrown and everything else. But, refs do the right thing, overturn the call. And then I believe that was... the drive where AJ got his touchdown. Yeah. And again, that was just a hell of a play by AJ to make that catch because the defender was all over him. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit. Now, granted, this happens on every single play in the NFL. So, had he not got away with a little bit of a push off there, maybe that ends up getting knocked out. But still, like, an incredible play that he's even able to get himself into a position to catch the ball, still get 2 feet in. Well, and no, like I said, that happens on every single play in the NFL.
Here's what I was about to say. Is it really a push-off if he's just trying to, like, turn his body? Like, in the replays that I've seen, it didn't seem like he really extended his arm.
And that's where you don't get the call.
Right, because if he fully extends the arm and pushes the guy, then it's a push-off. But he had to completely turn, so all he's really doing is ripping his arm over to get back to the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why that type of play, and then you include, I mean, the back shoulder throw, all of that stuff, that's why it is one of the best plays for one-on-one coverage in football. Right. Because it's literally a legal push-off. Like,
that's why it's so hard to defend.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like we talked about, Chiefs had to punt on their next drive. Titans get the ball, go down, kick a field goal, and we're feeling good, setting 17-0. Like, okay, guys, let's keep this up. And then just to add even more to it, able to force Mahomes out of the pocket. I believe they had 18 pressures on Mahomes yesterday. I mean, the guy was just running around trying to make a play, and when you're down 17-0, he started trying to play hero ball.
A much different game than the AFC Championship game that we saw, where he was literally just doing everything. Like, he was knitting in the pocket. He was knitting a sweater for after the game.
And he couldn't do that. They were forcing him out of the pocket and didn't let him have a long run like what he did in the AFC Championship game. They were able to get over to him. He throws the ball down the field. David Long, perfect coverage, gets his hand in there to knock the ball up in the air. And lo and behold, Rashaan Evans is the guy who's diving in to pick it off. And, I mean, you can't ask for any of a better start to this game than what the Titans had. I mean, as far as especially this first half went, and really even the second half, because they didn't surrender the lead. They didn't let the Chiefs start mounting a comeback. The Titans had a complete game. I mean, there was a mistake in the second half that we'll get to, but they did what they needed to do. And then you have, after that turnover, you have the Derrick Henry effect. And I do want to dive into this a little bit more. Credit to Austin Stanley from A to Z Sports, because he's the one that put this out there. I was able to see it. But given this MV King stat, in the first half, the Titans with Derrick Henry on the field ran play action 7 times. Out of those 7 times, Ryan Tannehill was 6 for 6 on passing for 119 yards and a touchdown. And on the 7th one was when, right after the interception, they're down at the goal line. Henry had got stuffed once. They run the play action. Ryan Tannehill is able to bootleg out and just run in.
Could not have had a more clear path to run it in.
So you're setting up 24-0. And you're like, man, this game, I had a smile on my face the whole time. Like, this is just getting better and better. And then you come right back out and force another turnover. Patrick Mahomes, I'd had a little PTSD. Not gonna lie. He was running around. He was starting to make plays. He was running for the first down. Seemed like no one could catch him. I'm like, no, not again, no. And Kevin Byard, after the game, he was talking about. He said, I seen that he just had poor, he wasn't taking care of the ball.
He didn't have it
and he said,
in a good position at all.
Something that I'm always practicing is, punching at that ball. And he punched it out. I believe it was Matthias Farley who recovered it. And
not to be confused with Caleb Farley.
No, not to be confused. But the Titans take every opportunity that they have, get that turnover, kick another field goal before half, and they're up 27-0 at halftime.
Which, as far as the action goes, was about it. We'll talk a little bit more about the second half, but first, I do want to take a look back at our best bets that we had for this game. And this segment, Best Bets, is brought to you by DraftKings, unofficial sports betting partner of the NFL. NFL fans, football fans, anybody that has a pulse, okay? I told you about it before this week. You'll have the same offer coming up this next week. Or do you need a big win this week? I mean, everybody could use a big win. You know what I'm saying? DraftKings Sportsbook, once again, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has got you covered. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game. And if they do, you win $200 in free bets. I mean, really, it's that simple and it's that easy. I mean, we gave you some games for this past week.
We say this is not betting advice from us, but the 2 games that we gave, you'd have won $200 in free bets.
Exactly. And all you have to do is use promo code TPPN. If the sports book is not available in your state yet, DraftKings, they're not going to leave you empty-handed. There's still an opportunity for you to play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Once again, on that app as well, promo code TPPN. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and you win $200 in free bets. If they win, you win with promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And come back later this week for our Titans at Colts game preview. And again, we'll look through all the NFL games. Not going to give betting advice. Not going to tell you that, hey, if you put your money on this team, you're going to win.
But we will tell you what we're going to be betting for that.
Yeah, we're going to look at all these games and we're going to say who we feel like we would put our money on and see how it goes again.
Absolutely.
So,
go ahead.
I'll
take it over from here. Caught my breath now. I was in a bad spot before this week, mentioning that I was 2 of 8 so far this season. I needed a big win. Put 2 more bets out there, under 57.5, and then Derrick Henry and Darrell Williams to score a touchdown. For one, Derrick Henry's passing touchdown doesn't even count, and then Darrell Williams did not score. That one was a miss. I did hit.
Note, I hope you didn't bet on any Chiefs player to score.
Yeah. Little spoiler alert.
Yeah.
In case you didn't watch the game and you're just kind of relying on us. Don't know if anybody does that, by the way, but
if you do, hey, thank you. We appreciate it.
But then I did hit on the under 57.5 because, well, the Chiefs helped me out there. So that bumps me up now to 3 out of 10 correct.
So you're sitting at 30%.
Sitting at 30%, which is not great.
No, I can't lie to you. It's not. Even NBA point guards and shooting guards are averaging better than 30% on their threes. So.
Yeah, but we still have the rest of the season to determine who is the better. So
that is true. And my 2 bets, I had Derrick Henry over 117.5 yards. He had a...
I bet that one too because I was so confident.
I did too. But by the time I bet on it, it had already went up to 118.5. And
yeah, I got it at 119.
But I mean, even then, we were still very confident in this. And I have to be honest, I'm sure that I met up with Titans Rossi and the Power Hour before the game. We went and checked out the Two-Tone Blue Nation tailgate. That you want a tailgate experience, you need to go there. It's crazy.
Okay.
But we did a little video before the game. I don't know if Rossi's going to be showing it. I know he's going live tonight. Again, we're recording as of Monday. I don't know if he's going to show it in that. And I can't help but feel like I messed up because we gave our score predictions and everything in there. And he just asked for another little prediction, and
you did it, didn't you? Oh my!
I couldn't help myself. I said that I felt like Derrick Henry was going to break 1,000. He was going to hit that 1,000-yard mark for the season in the game. And after I said it, and after the game, I got to thinking about it. I was like, "Yep, said I wasn't going to do it. I messed up and did it." He had 86 yards, So, anyway, getting back to our best bets. I didn't hit on that. Don't kill me. Remember, we're on camera right now. But my other bet was that Patrick Mahomes...
Terry, make sure you cut this out of the show.
Patrick Mahomes over half an interception. I just chose the wrong one of my bets to bet on because Mahomes over half an interception was plus 105. I'd have come out with more money than I would have if Henry would have hit his yards.
So you also went 1 of 2.
I did go 1 of 2, but that still puts me at 50%.
Yep, 5 out of 10, which is,
which when it comes to betting, that's
not terrible.
That's not bad.
You want to hit on a little bit more than that because of the juice, but
what kind of juice?
Well, what the sports books I'm pretty sure that's the correct term. Anyways, regardless, what the sports books take out. They take out a little bit out of the bets to, make it a little interesting for them. And so I think, I can't remember what the exact number is, but on typical point spread bets, I think if you're hitting about 54% or better, you can consider that profitable, roughly. But anyways, that's it for the Best Bets segment. Once again, presented to you by DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
So... yeah, we'll kind of just quickly recap the second half because not a lot happened.
Not a lot.
There was only 3 points scored in the second half, and that happened.
To be honest with you, I missed some of the third quarter. It was a little bit of a snooze fest.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, 8 minutes left in the game, and Chiefs fans were exiting the stadium.
I could see it. I would, if it weren't for just being so... happy about the way that this game went as a Titans fan. If I were there, I would have sort of been considering it by the time it got to, 4 or 5 minutes left. I would be like, okay, this nothing happening here much.
No, look, when you have a win like that against one of these teams that is considered a top team in the AFC, you're staying till the clock hits 0 and, just keeping the stadium bumping.
True, that's true.
I mean, but again, like I said, the Chiefs come out, kicked a field goal right after half, and I felt like that was the start to the second half the Titans needed. Don't let them go down, score a touchdown, hold them to a field goal. And Byard said in his interview after the game, hey, whenever they kicked that field goal, I gathered all the defense up and was like, no more points. They're not scoring again. And it's funny because they had a chance at another field goal. And I'd watched Harrison Butker.
Yep.
I'd watched him warm up before the game. And the way that he was kicking to, he had tried a 60-yarder. It was short, hit the goalpost, bounced back. Then he backed up even further and tried like a 62-yarder. It was short and to the side. So I knew he was having trouble kicking, going that way. And sure enough, he missed his second kick. I was like, this is exactly what we needed. But
what kind of kickers are you used to? Just drilling 60-yarders all the time?
But what I'm saying is, if you have a guy that's
because I know you're not used to good kickers, but neither one of us used to good kickers.
Hey, don't be down in Fat Randy.
Hey, he's actually kind of been killing it lately. So.
But no, what I'm saying is, because I'm wanting to say it was like a 50-something yarder that they had, the Chiefs attempted and missed. But the thing that got me when he was doing his warm-ups is you just realized you were short from 60, but you're backing up to 62. Like, you see what I'm saying now? Like, what kind of sense?
No, definitely. But
like, if I can make a 60-yarder, I try it, and I'm short, more than likely I'm going to scoot up to get my confidence back up of, okay, I can hit this.
Maybe that's why you're not an NFL kicker. I don't know. I don't know what the training program is.
But then after they kicked that field goal, let's be honest, the Titans didn't score in the second half, but they were driving on their first drive. They had a chance, and it just so happened.
I technically see it. But.
Well, just to fill you in, they had been throwing to Darrington Evans more on this drive.
Was glad to see him back.
Yeah, I was too. And the Titans had a crosser coming across. I can't remember. I think it was Evans. And they had ran this play, I think, a couple of times or something similar. And the Chiefs' defensive lineman he was rushing and then he dropped back at the last second. I feel like if Tannehill would have, the offensive line opened up some and there was a gap that he could have threw to, it would have been to his right. He could have threw it right through there to Evans. Instead, he waited a little bit longer and tried to throw it over the left tackle. And whenever he did that, the Chiefs defensive lineman just jumped up and picked it off. So really the only error by Tannehill on the day. And after that, that was pretty much it.
It was just...
We got to see the return of the MVP, the most valuable punter, and Kern just absolutely killed it. 2 punts on the day, and both punts put the Chiefs inside the 5-yard line.
When I actually did not even realize that Kern was back. For one, because the Titans didn't have to punt much up until they did. So I sort of catch the first punt as I think I was like fixing a plate to eat or something. But I catch the first punt and I was like, man, this is a solid punt. Like, okay.
Okay, Townsend.
Yeah, I was like, this dude is, what the heck? And then they get the ball back. I can't remember if it was exactly the next possession. I feel like it was because it was pretty close together.
So they punt, then the Chiefs had a turnover on downs, and then the Titans ran 5 plays and punted again.
And then, I didn't really, it's not something that I just look for when they're trotting out there because typically it's
the
same person week in, week out.
Right.
I'm not just like, oh, who's punting today? But, you know.
If you would have been paying attention last week, you would have seen that they waived Townsend and activated Kern.
Some things I miss every now and then. But I see another really good punt, and I'm like, what is happening? Okay, so I go, and that's when I finally realized that Kern is back, and I'm like, well, this makes sense. So,
and I'm just going to tell you, the first punt was good. Like, he put it out of bounds, so it was good. That second punt was amazing because he put the perfect amount of backspin on it to where it didn't go crazy coming back up the field. It just hit and stopped.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this game, that's why I said even when the Titans weren't scoring, just overall, this was the most complete and best game that they have probably played this year in every aspect of the game.
I think I would agree.
And then just kind of towards the end of the game, Titans had most of their starters out on defense. They forced another fumble, which I do want to hit on. Mahomes did get hurt before the Titans' last punt.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate. Took a shot to the head from Simmons' thigh/knee.
Hopefully looked a lot more severe than what it actually was.
Well, apparently, it looked like he was knocked out on the field. Like, he just had
it
that
looked
look
like he didn't even know where he was when he was walking off the field.
Here's the crazy thing. Still don't know how this is the case. He had to be helped off the field. And you're like, okay, this is a concussion. Easily. After the game, like a couple of hours after the game, before Sunday Night Football even comes on, it comes out that he's already cleared concussion protocol. So, don't know how, because I'm telling you,
because they need to win. That's how.
We're not like right on the field as far as our seats, like not first row. But looking at it, you could tell that he was dazed and just not that, like something was not right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know how he's already cleared it. He was talking to the media after the game, and he did seem fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of those freak things, it seems like.
But, they let the backup come in. I believe it was, is it Heineke? Or no, I don't know why.
That's
Heineke.
from a completely different NFL team.
Henne. Chad Henne. That's why.
You're talking Washington football.
Yeah, I blanked there for a minute. I knew it started with an H. So, but he starts kind of driving down the field on the Titans.
Somewhat,
but,
yeah.
Hey, Byard said, don't let them score. Force a fumble, garbage time turnover, but Titans recover it, take a knee, end the game, get out of here with a 27-3 win against the Chiefs. And
from a fantasy aspect, I actually needed Tyreek Hill to score right there, but he wasn't even on the field when they fumbled. So
I'm just going to tell you, you can see his speed on TV and everything. You see it in person, and when he starts running away from these guys, and it's just, it's crazy.
Dude is the fastest man in the NFL, and that's
a
fact.
According to Next Gen Stats, as of right now, Derrick Henry is the fastest ball carrier.
Yeah, but when has Tyreek Hill actually had an opportunity to completely just open up?
I don't know that he ever really does,
to
be honest with you. Even, I think he gets like that 5 to 7 yard gap when he's running away from guys, and I think he just kind of lets up.
Yeah, just slows down.
I don't know that he actually hits full speed.
There's probably a lot of truth to that. But yeah, that's pretty much how the game went. Ended up 27-3. Titans win. They improved to 5-2, which, if you had told me that after the Jets game, I would have slapped you in the face, actually. But let's get into, we'll each pick one from offense and one from defense, some key performers from this game. And I'll let you go first offensively.
Offensively, A.J. Brown. Dude he is back. There's no doubt about
it. He played a great game.
He's back. He was doing what he normally does. And just, being a great receiver and really making the most of teams selling out to try and stop Derrick Henry.
I'm gonna try to get this pulled up right quick because I want to make sure I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna go with here, and this is gonna be a little this is not gonna be anyone that you would have thought that I would have picked, but I'm gonna go with my guy, Josh Reynolds. 3 catches for 23 yards, assuming that's his best performance of the season so far.
I don't think it is.
But no, because you had that game where AJ and Julio were both out. But hey, even with those 2 guys playing this week, he still was able to get some action. I thought early on he was getting involved pretty well and made a couple of good plays that were key to some drives.
I don't think he played bad by any means. But if you were going to go with a guy that was kind of under the radar, I wish you would have went with McNichols, who, here's the reason why. The Titans were backed up on their goal line after the Chiefs' first punt. The first punt, we didn't even talk about. Mason Kinsey, actually on the active roster. And I know a lot of people were giving him hell over the Chiefs' first punt. He let it bounce. It went down inside the 5. But you never know how those are going to bounce.
Yeah.
And why take a chance of messing up, touching the ball, not getting a good grip on it, and the Chiefs recovering? But down on their own goal line, 3rd and long, they run that screen to McNichols, first down. So, just every time it seems like all hope is lost on the 3rd and long, and then somehow McNichols is able to slip out, catch that screen pass, and pick up the first down for us.
Yeah, he's like the king of 3rd and long for the Titans right now.
Yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, I'm going to go with Josh Reynolds just because there's a little bit of bias there because I was very high on him coming into the season.
I'm really surprised. I know you're not a jersey guy, but I'm surprised that you haven't went and bought a Josh Reynolds jersey just because you've really been so high on him.
So, for one, if I was a jersey guy and he was on a longer deal, would probably be who I would get.
I'll tell you whose jersey you probably need to be looking at.
Elijah Molden.
That's another good one. But before I get to mine, I'll let you throw out your defensive player of the game.
All right. Let me. I haven't put a lot of thought into who I was going to pick for this one. But I'll throw out the Nico Autry because he made some great plays.
I like that. Autry was getting back there. I've seen a lot of people say it. I completely agree with them. A+ free agent signing.
Yeah, I think even with the signing of Bud Dupree, until we see a little bit more from him, I would say he's been the best acquisition.
Well, Bud Dupree, he's on a long deal.
Yeah.
And coming off that injury that he had, the ACL, kind of come back a little too soon. He looks better.
Yeah, definitely.
And I could go with Kevin Byard for this. He's still playing out of his mind, doing his thing, forcing turnovers. But the guy I'm going to go with is going to be David Long.
Yeah. To me, he's been behind Byard, he's just been one of the most consistent guys.
And that's the guy that I was going to tell you who, if you want to look at a jersey, you might want to consider a David Long jersey.
We really, at some point, we don't even need to go back. You can just take my word for it because I know it's true. I was so high on David Long when we first started this podcast.
You were. We both.
We actually both were. Yeah, I remember that because it was the episode where we talked about, we talked about under the radar players for the upcoming season. Now, this would have been before last season.
Yes.
And that's getting in early on the David Long hype train.
And, we did the same thing for Amani Hooker, who, unfortunately, This year he's been having injuries, but I mean, Long is kind of having the season we thought Hooker would have, really. But David Long is just constantly flying around to the ball, making tackles. How many tackles did he have this game?
He had 6 with 2 assists.
But, I mean, you go back to his last couple of games, and he's going crazy.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
And had that pass deflection that Rashaan Evans got to pick off.
See, the thing was, the game script, the way it went, did not really give him a lot of opportunities to get tackles.
And then what is one of my favorite moments now from this game is you have, and we didn't even hit on this earlier, but you have Crookshank, who is covering Travis Kelce, because apparently it's not Kelsey, it's Kelce. And Kelce gets up looking for a flag. Feels like he got held down. He's yelling at the ref, oh, he's holding me doing this right here. And then you see David Long behind him, mocking him. Kelce turns around and sees it. And then he turns back to the ref, and he's even more pissed off. I'm like, Travis Kelce's 15 minutes thrown out of the game early. Like, yes, keep it up, guys.
That was one of the funniest moments I've seen so far this season.
So, I mean, just to do that and get in Travis Kelce's head, like, that's enough for me.
Yeah, I agree. I know that you're going to run through some of the bold predictions, score predictions that we had.
So, I actually, I need to go back here.
Did we have anyone get one right?
I do not believe so. A lot of people said...
Certainly no score predictions right, because nobody had a 3 for the...
I have to look here, because I did mess up on my wife's bold prediction, because apparently she did actually put something different than just Henry's yards. So yeah, let me find that here right quick.
This sounds like collusion.
No, it's not. I flat out miss it. She actually did get her bold prediction right. I have it right here. You can go look at the Twitter. 4 days ago. Said, bold prediction, Mahomes won't pass for more than 300 yards.
I do remember seeing that, actually, before the game. So.
And score prediction didn't get right, but she thought Henry would rush for 250 this game. But, I mean, that officially gives her the lead on bold prediction, because this is the first time in Mahomes' career where he was held under 250 yards passing and without a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, Derrick Henry had more passing touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean...
And so, I mean, I have to give it to her. I would have never thought that would have been the case with the banged-up secondary for the Titans. But, yes, she got it right. Everyone else...
and this week's bobblehead was, I said Wycheck was this week's. No. Yeah, Wycheck was this week's bobblehead.
Hey, don't push down on his head so hard.
I mean, you're going to get that defensive over the bobbleheads?
Look, I know you don't like the bobbleheads. But...
Next week, this one, if I had to pick a favorite, it would actually be this one. The Chris Johnson one is the one that we'll be giving away. So get your bold predictions in. I feel like me saying that has actually boosted
the odds a little bit.
The amount of bold predictions that we're getting.
Well, sorry to everyone, you're not getting my bobbleheads. It took a while to build that up. But we have, this is what's crazy, Starkteak on Twitter, I hope I'm saying that right, said, bold prediction, Titans defense, 3 turnovers. But where he messed up was he also added in Henry 200 yards and AJ and Julio over 100 receiving yards.
Which you have to give credit for the fact that that's probably the most bold prediction that we've seen in, well, I don't know that I would, this season.
Possibly. But yeah, that was it for really what was like really close and what hit. And I have to give credit to my wife because, and I'm sorry that I did not actually mention her bold prediction on the preview. She did correct me when when actually editing our video and adding all that in. We have the little pop-ups that tells everyone's bold prediction. She made sure to put it on there. So, I mean, I have to give it to her.
Well, it's documented then.
It's documented. It's on Twitter. I mean, it's out there on the internet.
I mean, once you put things out on the internet, they're there.
They are. And, I mean, really, going into this 4-game stretch, starting with the Bills game and going through the Rams game, we pretty much agreed the Titans need to win 2 of them.
Yep.
We said one of those wins needed to be against the Colts, though. Well, we said anything above 2 wins is great. Can't have anything less than 2 wins. But now, coming off beating the Bills, then beat the Chiefs, now we go up to Indianapolis. We can't let,
as long as it's raining, then things should be fine.
As long as it's raining. Well,
did you watch the game
I did,
night?
But I don't think that's going to affect things in Indy.
You're right. You're right. I literally do not know. I literally have no idea what team's playing at home and what teams don't. That's one thing that, I can tell you from, 2010 till probably, 2017-ish, any player that popped up on the NFL, I could tell you what college they went to.
Right.
I can't tell you anything about stadiums.
But, yeah, so that the rain won't really matter there. But go up to Indy. We got to keep the momentum going from these last 2 games, but we can't get the big head going into this. And, I know a lot of people may be upset that the national media isn't giving the Titans respect for beating the Chiefs. But we kind of knew after the game that it was the next day it was not going to be, look at what the Titans did. It was going to be, what's wrong with the Chiefs? What's going on with them? And you know what? Let's keep it that way. Don't talk about us. Keep us as underdogs. I hate to keep stealing stuff from Kevin Byard, but he said a lot of good things after the game. And he said, we're not trying to prove other people wrong. We're trying to prove ourselves right in what we know we can do. And that's what they're doing. That's what they've done with
now that you've mentioned so many Kevin Byard things, I can just imagine you watching his press conference and you're just like,
damn right. Jotting this down. No, but I mean, really, he said a lot of good things there, and that's the attitude that they need to carry in. They don't need to be carrying the attitude of we're trying to prove all these other people wrong. It needs to be, we know what this team is capable of, and we're just going to prove that we're right in what we're thinking. So just carry that over, and if they can get a win against the Colts, I think that'll pretty much wrap up the division and make it hard on the Colts to get a wild card spot. And then after that, if they not want to jump too far ahead, but they face the Rams, if they were to win these next 2 games, the Rams game would just be the icing on top of the cake.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So, but that's all I have for this game. And looking ahead, of course, we'll have our Titans at Colts game preview show later this week. We'll be sending out a tweet, Facebook post for you to get your bold predictions and score predictions in. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this next week and hoping that, the Titans can string together another win. And who knows, in the next week and a half, a little personal moment for me and my wife, and really even for you having your first niece coming into the world. And so hopefully at the latest next week, be holding my baby girl for the first time.
Things are ramping up on the baby watch, so that should be
Baby Watch 2021.
Baby Watch 2021 should be coming to a close pretty soon.
And it's going to happen when the Titans are away playing, so we don't have to worry about being in the stadium and going into labor.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you had been mentioning, got to make it through these 2 weeks here of these home games.
Come on, baby, just 2 more games.
Got to make it through these 2 weeks, and then we can talk. Okay?
We're talking about the Bills and Chiefs. Come on.
And then it comes closer to time, and you're like, okay, we gotta have something happen here because we got a home game coming up next week.
We got the 2 next games are away games.
Yeah. We have a 2-week window. Okay, we have a plan. We have to execute. Is everyone ready?
So I mean, yeah, that's looking forward to that, and it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this show. Thanks for listening. This has been Titans Time, and as always, Tighten up.